Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Webinar Wednesday, Education Wednesday, Sprite Conde Systems. Very excited to be here today because we're going to talk about one of the things that I think I struggle with the most, and that is social media and how to market on social media. And today I have a very special guest with me, Kristine Shreve. Hello, Kristine. How are you?
One small correction, Kristine.
Kristine.
That's all right.
And I got the last name right.
You got the last name perfect, so I thought you were good.
Kristine. So Kristine, you are a social media consultant and owner of Kristine Shreve Consulting. You're also a podcast host. So I'm very excited for this. I hope that I can gain some insight here, and I know that this is going to be exciting for our customers. So I guess with that, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, if you saw the little title card that came up, this is the top mistakes that business owners make on social media. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is that they don't know what markets they're trying to contact. And I will say, first tip I'm going to give you here, your market is never everyone. I have people tell me that. I'll ask them, okay, what's your market? And they say, well, my market's everybody. I think everybody. Nobody's market is everybody. I need to tell you, even huge corporations like Coca-Cola or Campbell's Soup or Nike, their market isn't everyone. Their
Hey,
focus in on who are you trying to sell to.
Kristine.
If you own a brick and mortar, that might be really easy because you can sell to people who live in the area that your brick and mortar services. And a brick and mortar is essentially a store, if you're not familiar with that terminology. If you sell online, then you're maybe going to want to segment your market based on the products you're offering. People who buy cutting boards are going to be a different market than people who buy, say, clocks, or people who buy mugs, or whatever it is that you're selling. So you need to really be focused and dialed in on who your market is. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One is the type of messages you put out are going to differ based on the market you're trying to talk to. So, and I talk with my hands a lot. I apologize for that, but you're going to see them kind of fly around a little bit. It happens. So getting back to your market segment, the message that you put out is going to depend on the market segment you're trying to talk to. Again, if you're talking to somebody who wants to buy a sublimated skateboard, say, then that's going to be a different message than if you're talking to someone who wants a sublimated cutting board or who wants a mug with their corgi on it or whatever it is. Those messages are going to be different. So you want to know the market segment that you're trying to talk to. The second thing you want to deal with when it comes to market segments is different market segments may be on different social media platforms. And if you read information out there, some of the social media gurus will tell you that everyone should be on this particular platform. Again, that's basically not, I want to say in a kind of a rude word, but I'll just say it's not really accurate. Let's put it that way. Different market segments will be on different platforms, and the platforms they use might depend on age. It might depend on the type of content they want to put out. It could depend on a lot of things. But if you don't know what your market segment is, and if you haven't done the research to see where that market segment is using social media, you could be putting up the best messages in the world, but you're putting them out to people who don't want what you're offering. So you need to align all the things. You need to align who your market segment is, where they are, and what type of messages you're putting out to that segment. If you do those three things, then you're probably going to be fairly successful. There's the odd time when that doesn't work, but for the most part, it's going to work. So that's the first mistake that I think a lot of business owners make, is they either listen to the experts and they don't do their research as to where their particular market segment is. So they're on platforms that don't talk to that market segment, or they don't even know who they're trying to talk to. So they're putting out generic messages on all the platforms, hoping they're going to get lucky and hit someone that's going to want what they have to sell. Honestly, that's kind of a waste of time. Do your research ahead of time so you can spend your time on the social media platforms profitably, which leads me to my next point, which is time. One of another common mistake that business owners often make is what I call the tumbleweed profile, which is they set up a Facebook profile, they put up 3 or 4 posts over a couple of weeks, they don't get a lot of response, so they move to Twitter, say. And they're on Twitter for a couple of weeks and they post 4 or 5 things and they follow a couple people and they don't get a lot of response, so they try Instagram. And they post 3 or 4 posts on Instagram over a couple of weeks and they don't get a lot of response. And so they move on to YouTube, or they move on to Pinterest, or they move on to Snapchat or TikTok or whatever it is. The problem here is that social media is about community, and you don't build a community in 5 minutes or 2 weeks. If you want to figure out if a social media platform is worth your time, you're probably going to need to spend about 6 months of consistent posting, and that's good quality content that you're posting, and also building a community on the platform before you know if it works for you or not. So this tumbleweed thing, where you're just bouncing from one platform to another, or you post for a couple of weeks and then you stop and you say social media doesn't work, and then maybe you post something 6 months later and nobody responds and you say social media doesn't work. It's not social media that's not working, it's how you're using it and the time you're giving it that isn't working. So you need to plan, and granted, this is a generalization, I would say 6 months of consistent posting. And by consistent posting, I mean posting that is targeted to your target market, that is good quality posting. You're responsive when somebody leaves you a message, when somebody makes a comment. You're working to build community, which means you're following people that can benefit your profile, that can help you extend your reach, that are maybe members of your market, any of those things. And you need to do this consistently, day in and day out. And you need to do this while nobody's paying attention, while nobody's responding to you, while it feels like you're shouting down a well and all you're getting is an echo. And I'll fully admit, that's hard because you want a response. You're doing this because you want people to interact with your business. You want to find customers. You want to sell product. That's the goal. There really isn't any other reason for a business to be on social media, honestly. So you want all that. But if you get impatient and you're scattershot and you're not working to build a community around your profile, you're probably not going to be successful. And I've seen this a million times. And usually when people come to me and they say, social media doesn't work. Social media just is a racket. It just doesn't work. And I'll say, well, what did you do? Well, I was on Facebook for 3 weeks and I did 5 posts and I followed everyone, and I had my family follow me and I had my friends follow me, and nobody responded to my posts and nobody bought anything. And social media just doesn't work. Of course it didn't work. You weren't contacting the right people. You weren't making the right connections. You weren't putting out posts that spoke to your target market, and you didn't give it enough time. So like I said, 6 months minimum, and that's 6 months, and I want to make this qualification again because it's important. It's 6 months of consistent posting, of building a community, of participating in the community, which means not just posting your own posts, but commenting on other people's posts, liking other people's posts, friending other people, following other pages, all that kind of stuff. You're trying to build a community. You're trying to build something that's long lasting. There's statistics all over the place, and I don't remember specifically the number off the top of my head, But there's a number of studies with various percentages that say that people trust people that they know, and they like to do business with people they trust. And how do your customers get to know you? They get to know you by spending time with you. And how do they spend time with you? They see your profile over time. They see that you're posting consistently. They see that you respond to questions or concerns. They get a sense of who you are as a person. They see little posts where you share little tidbits about how your equipment works, or the new thing that you're making, or the new class that you're taking that you're so excited about. And they learn that you're dedicated to what you're trying to do. They learn to trust you. And if they learn to trust you, they're much more likely to buy from you. So don't be a tumbleweed. Don't just roll through social media over and over and over, because that's not going to get you the results you want. Pick a platform or two and spend 6 months building your profiles and building your community on those platforms. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to post every day, but you do have to post quality posts. And you do have to spend the time, like I said, 6 months minimum. And that leads me to the next mistake I see, which is people get really focused on the idea that they're on social media to sell product. So everything they post, everywhere they post, is about them and their products, and all their posts have a price tag. So they don't share who they are. They don't comment on other people's posts. They don't like other people's posts. There are even some people, and I never, ever, ever recommend this, so don't do it, but there are people who do, who will go on other people's comments or posts and post about their own products. Bad social media etiquette, don't do it. Nobody likes it. It's not going to make people want to buy your stuff. It's mostly going to make them want to unfollow you and never hear from you again. So don't do it. But don't be all about yourself. I'm sure everyone has seen the profile from a business where it's just the same picture and the same tagline and the same price over and over and over. And basically all that profile is screaming is, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You really want to buy my stuff. But you're not telling people why they want to buy your stuff. You're not telling them why your stuff is different or better. You're not telling them what you've been through to learn how to make the stuff you're selling. You're not telling them anything. All you're doing is putting up the same post over and over and hoping that you're going to have a different result. I'm sure you all know what the definition of insanity is. That's doing the same thing over and over and expecting that something different is going to happen. It's not how it works. If you want to be successful, you have to be part of the community. The first word in social media is social for a reason. And the reason is that when you're on social media, when you're on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever it is, you're there to interact with other people. It's not about you. It's about what you can contribute to the community. And sometimes what you can contribute to the community is your products or your knowledge or your expertise or whatever it is. And yes, that is about you, but it's about you in the context of contributing to the community, not about you in the sense of, I don't care about anyone else. I'm just here to talk about my products. So make sure that you're focused first on becoming part of the community and becoming a trusted member of the community. And then second, on letting people know, I have these things to sell. And honestly, if you're working on becoming a trusted member of the community, the products conversations are going to happen naturally. So you don't have to put a lot of effort into letting people know. They'll find out, they'll ask you, they'll go to your website and they'll look. And you'll get orders out of it. But if you're always focused on, buy my stuff, it's all about me, and the only thing I care about is getting your money from your pocket into my pocket, you're probably not going to have a very good time on social media. The other thing, another mistake that I see that happens quite frequently is people who Post, 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 post all the time. It's a question I get asked a lot. How many posts is optimal? And honestly, I tell people, okay, there really isn't an answer to that question. For some people, it's going to be a post a day is enough. For some people, it's going to be a couple posts a day. For some people, it's going to be 2 posts a week. And some of it has to do with how much time you have available and how much time and effort you want to put into crafting your posts. If you're doing a video or something, that's going to take a little longer. So maybe you only do 1 of those a week. If you're just posting a, hey, here's a fun testimonial we got from this customer, then that's a pretty fast post, and maybe you can do a couple of those a week or 1 every day. The best kind of posting schedule is basically a mix, so it varies a little bit, but you want to set like a baseline of, my goal is I'm going to post 2 times a week, or I'm going to post 4 times a week, or I'm going to post 1 video and 2 other posts a week, or whatever it is. And the goal is basically to try to be consistent so people know that they can expect to see new content from you on a regular basis. The goal here is to produce enough new content that people pay attention when you put new content out. And they pay attention to your profile because they want to see the new content you're putting out. If everything you put out is just, what's the word I want to say, minutia. If everything you put out is just, I have to do a post, so I'm just going to put something random up, or it's cute cat pictures, or it's National Donut Day posts, or whatever, then eventually people are going to say, there's nothing here that's any content that's useful. It's not telling me anything. It's just random babble to post. So your posts need to have a purpose. Your posts need to have a goal. And that's not to say you can't post about National Donut Day. I mean, when I was a marketing director in my former life, I sometimes would post, here's the snack I'm having today. What's your favorite snack? Because we had enough trust and communication, and we were part of the community, that I knew we could get a good discussion going about what our favorite snack was. And we were getting engagement on our page, and we were getting people used to talking to us. So there's nothing wrong with hey, this is National Donut Day. What's your favorite donut post? Occasionally, because you're just trying to get people to talk to you. You're trying to have conversations. You're trying to get to know people. But if that's all you're posting, here's my favorite snack, here's my cup of tea, here's my dog. After a while, people are going to go, what is this company about? Why am I following this profile? And you have to remember that people follow business profiles because they're either looking for something or they want to figure out what the business is about. So for either of those goals, you need to communicate, and you need to communicate in a variety of ways, and you need to have substantive communication. Saying, it's National Donut Day, what's your favorite donut? That is a form of communication. And like I said, it can be useful at times. So you need to have a balance of things that show what you're learning, what you can do, what your products are, who you are, and who your company is, and some posts that are just fun, or some that are, happy St. Patrick's Day or happy Valentine's Day or whatever it is, and some that are just random, like here's my dog and here it is National Donut Day, what's your favorite donut? If you can find a good mix of all those sorts of things, what you'll see is conversations are happening, and that should always be your goal, to have good conversations, to be a part of the community. And to be a part of the community, you have to contribute, which means you have to like, you have to comment, you have to share, you have to support others. And if you do those things, that support will also come back to you. Now, the next mistake, after I just said, and I understand this, that you need to support and like and be part of the community, the next mistake that I see people doing is not being strategic in who they're following and who they're friending. Now, I'm not going to argue the whole theory of if less is more. Do you want 10,000 people who are just random people, or do you want 1,000 people who are targeted customers for your business. Some people will say the 1,000 is worth more than the 10,000. Other people will say having 10,000 gives you more reach. It depends on the platform. It depends on the algorithms. The algorithms change all the time. But I will say this, regardless of the size of your following, you want to be sure that the majority of people that you connect with are people that want what you have to sell. And this sounds pretty elementary, but when a lot of people start their profiles, they start them with their family, or they ask their friends to like the page or their profile or whatever it is. And they end up with a bunch of people. They have numbers. If you look at their follower count or their page likes or whatever, there's numbers there. But most of the people that are looking at the page aren't people who are going to buy what they want to sell. So again, this circles back to know who your target market is and make sure those people are seeing your social media profiles. Make sure you're friending those people. Make sure you're asking them to like your page. Make sure that all your social media information, it could be little icons, is on the bottom of your website. Make sure that you mention it on your invoices if you do paper invoices or even email invoices. Make sure it's in the signature on your email. Make sure that you're letting your customers know this is where we are on social media. You should come and be here too, because those are the people that you want to connect with. The other thing is connect with your competitors. And a lot of people say, oh, I would never connect with my competitors because then they can see what I'm doing. Well, newsflash, honestly, they can see what you're doing anyway, because they don't have to be following you to see your profile unless you have a private profile. And honestly, if you're a business, there's really not much point to that. So you want to be aware that following your competitors is a great source of industrial intelligence, basically. You can find out what sales they're offering. You can find out if they're having problems that maybe you can exploit. You can find out how they interact with their customers. You can see who their customers are and if any of those customers could be lured to your business. So there's a lot of reasons why following your competitors is good. There's virtually no reason not to, honestly, because if you think not following them is going to keep them from knowing what you're doing, you're wrong. It's not going to do that. So follow your competitors, learn everything you can from them. Be strategic when you're figuring out who you friend and follow, what pages you like, what things you support, because you're looking at building a community around your target market, people who want your products. So now the next thing that people do that is often a mistake is they get on social media because they think they should be on social media. They don't have a goal for why they're on social media. Or they get on social media because I want to sell product. Okay, but what products do you want to sell? How much of it do you want to sell? Who do you want to sell it to? What else can you do with social media? Do you want to generate publicity for your business? Do you want to build trust with your customers? Do you want to learn from other people? Do you want to let people get to learn about you? There are a number of reasons for why a business gets on social media. And yes, one of the big ones is I want to sell product. I want to find customers. I'm not going to deny that. It's definitely something that people would want to do. But you need to be aware that you can have different goals at different times and that your goals might change over the course of your social media lifespan. When you start out, yeah, you're probably looking to make connections. You're probably looking to find customers. You're probably looking to hook up with suppliers, maybe. You might be looking to find mentors or teachers or education. All of those are great goals. And you can have all of those simultaneously. But you need to figure out which ones are the ones that are most important, because that's going to dictate a little bit who you follow, who you friend, the kind of messages you put out, all that sort of thing. So make sure that you know what your goals are and you understand what it is you're trying to do. Because if you're just randomly posting stuff, you're not probably going to accomplish whatever your goal is. If you have a goal, it also helps refine and target the types of things you post, the messages that you're putting out there, what you say, all that kind of stuff. So, spend 45 minutes, spend an hour, and sit down and think about, okay, what do I want to do with my social media platforms? What am I trying to accomplish? What is important to me right now? And like I said, keep in mind, those goals can change over time. And another mistake that I see people make, business owners on social media, is not having business pages or not having business profiles. And pretty much every social media platform now has a business arm or a business option. And the reason why I say you should always have a business account if you're a business is because the business accounts offer things that the personal accounts don't. And mainly they offer things like statistics and analytics. And statistics is harder to say than you would think, which is weird. But they offer you the ability to see what posts work at what times of day, what posts are getting the most engagement, who is engaging the most often, so who your top fans or friends might be, all these kinds of things. And if you have that information, then you can target and craft social media posts to those times or on those subjects or to those people that you know are responding the most. You can see what sorts of subjects get the most engagement. You can see what times of day posts are received the best, all those kinds of things. If you have personal profiles, you don't necessarily get that type of information, and that information can be extremely, extremely valuable. And the last thing that I want to talk about here, because we're getting pretty close to my half an hour, and that's about as long as I planned on going, is to be aware that there's no silver bullet for social media. This circles back to how much time it's going to take. If you are thinking that you're going to be an overnight success, you probably need to give up that thought. It's going to take time. Like I said before, and I keep hitting this point because it's important, probably 6 months of solid, consistent, good posting, of building a community, of interacting, of responding, of engaging, before you can decide if social media is working for you or not. There's no silver bullet. There's no social bullet. That works. There's no silver bullet. The gurus may tell you, because they're gurus and they're probably getting paid to write about it, that posting at a certain time is best, posting at a certain day is best, posting a certain type of post is best. And for some people that may well be true, but the only way that you will know is to consistently post and test things out for yourself, and then have business profiles so you can look at the stats, so you can see what's working and what's not. Every account, every business, every social media profile is different. So you want to make sure that you're doing the testing, you're looking at the analytics, and you know how this works for you. So don't necessarily assume that there's some program you can buy, some special time you're supposed to post on the 4th Tuesday during the new moon when the roses are out, and that's the best time. The only way you know that is to test and try for yourself. And if you do that, you will eventually be successful. But like I said, it's going to take time. So make sure you spend the time and be consistent and be patient. And if you do those things and you know who your target market is, you're going to be successful. And that's pretty much my half an hour top mistake talk. So I don't know if Sprite has any questions.
Yes, I do.
If she wants me to keep going?
No, I got.
Or what's happening? There she is.
Can you hear me?
I think you're muted, Sprite.
Oh, I know what I did.
Oh,
I know what I did. I know what I did.
still not hearing you.
How about now? Is that better?
There we go.
I did that. Jerry had a good question. How can they determine their target market?
Well, that's basically has something to do with the products that you sell. And it has to do with, if you're an existing business and you already have customers, then you can start by looking at who your current customers are, because that will give you some indication of who is already buying from you, and maybe you can go find more of them. If you're a new business, then you should have done your research ahead of time to kind of know that, okay, I'm starting up a business for these things, and these are the market segments that I think are going to work. If you want to do some advanced research, you can always go look at businesses that you either admire or think you would like to be like, and see who's buying from them, and that can give you some indication of your target market. Honestly, target market, sometimes I hate to say this because it's kind of a wimpy answer, and I'm sorry, but sometimes target market is a little bit trial and error too. You just have to kind of talk to people. But you can always reach out. One of the things that's really nice about this industry is there's a lot of education out there, and companies like Conde will help you with questions like this because they have experience in selling the products that they sell. So they can give you some feedback too that might be helpful. So I know that's I feel like that's wimpy, and I wish I had a silver bullet answer for you, even though I told you there's no silver bullets, but I really don't.
A lot of people saying that this is great and that it's a lot of information. Jerry said that was a good answer. She's the one that asked the question.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
A few people saying they really struggle with knowing what to post, which, like you said, it really is just trial and error and seeing what works. And
well, and I will say this too. If you're struggling with what to post, keep in mind that you should be authentic on social media, which is you should be you. And some people think they have to be like, I've had people say to me, well, I'm kind of serious and I'm not really bubbly and like flowers and puppies. And I'm like, but you don't have to be you, because you want people to know you. If somebody becomes your customer, they're going to be dealing with you. So if you're more serious and you're not like, let's post puns and jokes, then don't do that. Do what's comfortable for you, and that will get you the results that you want. So, but I get that. Like I said, I have posted about my snacks before. It's some days you just got nothing.
Yeah, and those posts that get good engagement where you really get people talking, those are, a lot of times that doesn't have anything to do with the business or the company, but people start engaging with it. And when you have engagement, that means people are seeing it. And that's really that's what you want, is you want those posts to be seen.
Well, and the thing that happens too is once you get them in the pattern of engagement, then they start talking to you on the other posts too. Everybody's got a favorite snack, so it's a lowball post. It's like an easy post to get people to go, oh, I like M&Ms, I like peanuts, whatever it is. But then it kind of spills over, because once they get used to talking to you and they see that you'll talk back, then they'll talk to you more. So it's a perpetuating cycle.
Yeah. Vicky said she doesn't like it when she finds out that someone she's been following is pretending to be what they think they want to see instead of showing their authentic self. So, yes. Well, everybody is just loving this presentation. I want to thank you so very much.
Sure.
This was great. I learned a lot of things. I know our followers did as well. So once again, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And I guess I'll see everybody on Friday. So
thank you.
Goodbye.